Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. And the Kanwar Yatra is a very, very important event in the Hindu calendar when all the pilgrims, they, who walk barefoot across as part of their religious duties. The Kanwar Yatra, therefore, attracts a lot of people, a lot of young men, a lot of men usually carrying heavy items and walking through as part of this Kanwar Yatra. Now, the controversy has been over whether those who are on the Kanwar Yatra have a right to decide where they should eat in the course of their long walk. And there is a lobby which believes that they have a right to choose where they want to eat. Regardless of that, among the steps of the Uttar Pradesh government has been that all the eateries will have to lay out or put a signboard with the name of the proprietor or the owner or the manager of that particular eatery. The fundamental premise of this is that the Kanwar Yatris, the Kanwariyas, have a right to decide where they want to eat because eating from unknown sources may violate their personal and religious autonomy. In a country where everybody believes that people from all religions have a right to defend their identity, why is it that this simple right to choose of the Kanwariyas is seen to be a major controversy in our country? So major that a former member of parliament and a top Samajwadi party leader, S.T. Hassan, equated this whole idea of asking eateries to declare the name, not the religious identity, it's just the name of the proprietor to Pahalgam. He said, जो हिंदू मुसलमान करके यहाँ की आबादी को बांटना चाहते हैं और आबादी बांटने के बाद देश कमज़ोर हो, इनका एक एजेंडा है. And he goes on to say, क्या इनमें और, talking about the Kanwariyas or the government, क्या इनमें और उन आतंकवादियों में कोई फ़र्क है जिन्होंने धर्म पूछकर पहलगाम में गोलियां मारी थी? ये भी एक तरह की आतंकवाद है. This is a kind of terrorism. Now, where is the terrorism involved here? Straight questions. Does demanding people display their names or eateries violate any clause of the law? Absolutely not. Article 25 of the Constitution says that subject to public morality, subject to public order and public health, all people are entitled to freedom of conscience and the right to profess, practice or propagate their religion. What does this mean? This means that the Kanwariyas too can claim that Article 25 applies to them, that they also have a right to consume food that is prepared in accordance with their religious dietary practices. And one of those may be strict vegetarianism. One of those may be sattvic food. Now, the question is not whether a Hindu or a Muslim is the person who's making that food. It's about the right of choice of the Hindu pilgrim. Article 21 says no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty. What does this mean? For Kanwariyas, deciding where they want to eat food is their right. It's part of their personal liberty. Displaying the vendor's name empowers them to make an informed choice, safeguarding their right to live according to their religious and cultural practices. Ladies and gentlemen, how can anyone compare this to Pahalgam, the massacre? You have to be a vicious mind to say that if a Kanwariya says, I want to eat food from a particular eatery, you're comparing a Kanwariya Hindu pilgrim to a terrorist. They're comparing this to the Kalma test, where in Pahalgam people were shot dead point blank because they failed to recite some Islamic verses. Hindus were stripped, humiliated in the last moments of their life and massacred in front of their wives. How is this the same? But the bigger point is, how can any Muslim leader make a comment like this about Hindu pilgrims? In other words, let me also ask, why should anyone hide their name at all? If there is a Hindu pilgrim and you are a Muslim, why should the Hindu pilgrim not know that yours is a Muslim eatery? After that, if he wants to go, he can go. If he doesn't want to go, he won't go. The rule does not ask any vendor to declare their faith, just their name and license. So why is this claim being made about religion? If you are taking a taxi service, at least here in the National Capital Region, many cabs have the name of the owner of the cab printed on the side of the cab. Where is the aspect of religion here? Why should anybody want to conceal their identity? Why should anybody want to conceal their religious identity? Why should anybody want to conceal their name? Let us be transparent, because transparency breeds accountability. Vendor nameplates are not invasive unless you are concealing something. I can go on and on, but what is happening is fundamentally wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We need to respect the Kanwar Yatris as much as we respect the Hajj pilgrims. You can't have two sets of rules. Kanwar Yatris have rights, and nobody questions the rights of the Hajj pilgrims. In fact, 7,697 crore was spent on Hajj subsidy since 2004 to 2017, when this was finally scrapped. Did anybody object? Does anyone attack Hajj pilgrims in the way that Kanwar Yatris are being attacked? Is accommodation not arranged for Hajj pilgrims? Is support not given for Hajj pilgrims by the government of India in Saudi Arabia through the Indian Hajj mission, administered by whom? The government of India, paid for by whom? By you and me, the taxpayers. Does anyone target Hajj pilgrims in the way that Kanwar pilgrims are being targeted like this? Why are Hindu pilgrims being targeted all the time? Why are these statements being made? If a Hindu leader was to say anything insensitive about Islam, the person would be targeted. Sartan se juda arguments are being made. But when you are making a comparison like this to Pahalgam and Kanwar Yatris, you are told if you are secular, you must sit down and you must accept. You see, viewers, now let me come to the moot point. Why are some people, especially people who indulge in appeasement politics, so angry when they see Kanwar Yatris? They are angry in the same way as they are angry when 65 crore pilgrims pass through the Kumbh, because it reminds them of Hindu unity. It reminds them of the scale, size and power of the Hindu religion. 3 crore people participating in the Kanwar Yatra makes these people very anxious, because it reminds them that Hinduism is alive and strong and growing and reviving. That is why they also cannot stand a next-gen Hindu preacher like Baba Bageshwar, who attracts lakhs of young Hindus every time he holds a sabha. The problem fundamentally, ladies and gentlemen, is with Hinduism and with Hindu devotees. And that is why I believe more than anything else, we must protect the rights of Hindu pilgrims if we are a truly secular and not a pseudo-secular country.